This September the 25th Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now, use code SGP. New customers score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on football, only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code SGP. We're brought to you by Game Time. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app and use that promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL. Win up to 20x in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100K. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, September the 24th, and we are here to handicap a teeny-weeny card of MLB action for Monday, September the 25th. And we're also going to have a sniff around some futures, if there's any divisions or World Series plays, stuff like that, that we like the look of. And joining me on this Sunday night is Mr. Lonte Smith. Hey, Lonte, what's happening?
Not much, man. Looking forward to the season actually ending so we can actually get into some meaningful baseball and where the real grind starts at. So, looking forward to this next week being over and getting into some real matchups where we can extract some value.
Yeah, it's nearly time to start firing out the playoff shows, which is exciting. I mean, it's going to be a decent week. There's still certain stuff up for grabs. It's been an interesting day today. The Astros, the Astros are going to feature quite heavily, I think, in this in the next 30 minutes because they're playing tomorrow. There's only 4 games tomorrow, so we're going to handicap the 4 games. But the Astros are one of those. But then also they are one of the live divisional races, which is still good. And somehow they've managed to get swept by the Royals this week. This weekend, a game, the final game of that just finished literally 5 minutes ago. The Royals beat the Astros 6-5 in Houston. So we're not entirely sure what the Astros are playing at. There's still various. So a lot of the wild card races are still up for grabs. Tampa Bay is still trying to chase down Baltimore, if they can do that. So I mean, this is going to be quite a Houston heavy episode, Lonte, but I mean, how can you explain what's happened this weekend there?
I can't. Only thing I can explain is with the bankroll because I lost a lot of money against. Going with Houston, man. The team total. I thought it was a good get right spot. I mean, they had the top of their rotation going against an inferior opponent in Kansas City, but I mean, Kansas City just pretty much owns them. So I just it's unexplainable. They just can't win at home. I mean, they're a lot better on the road than they are at home, but they got a big series coming up this week, and if they don't get their act together, they're going to be watching the playoffs from home. They're probably, and Munaf can probably invite them all over, and they can watch it in his little castle that he has.
The chat is noticeably quiet, which is normal for an NFL Sunday night. Trev's in. Trev, how you doing? Nice to see you. If anybody else pops in, by all means, say hello to us. Trev's asking if there's any day sport tomorrow. Normally not on a Monday. I don't know what the crack is. I didn't actually look at the start times of these games. And I don't quite know where there's 4 games. I don't know if these are makeup games maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, the Yankees and D-backs game was canceled over the weekend. So that one I think is made up. And the other, I think it was another game that was canceled. I can't remember which one it was, but I think that was getting rescheduled for Thursday.
So there is a baseball game tomorrow, the D-backs and the Yankees tomorrow. Well, I wasn't going to mention it, Lonte, but on the grounds, Trev's brought it up in the chat. I can't believe we've got 5 minutes into the pod. Lonte, have you watched any soccer today?
No, I haven't watched any football today.
But that's fine. I'll tell you all about it, Lonte, don't worry. What you missed this afternoon is in the Premier League, you missed Sheffield United 0, Newcastle United 8. That is 8, Lonte, on the road. And not only that, it was the first time ever that 8 different people scored a goal. You got to be impressed with that, Lonte. You having that?
Yeah, I am. That's like the Dolphins dropping 70 today against Denver. Against Denver.
Every single touchdown was caught by a different person. We talked about Tyreek Hill running riot last week, didn't we? And sure enough,
first drive.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous, wasn't it? Yeah. 8 different scorers for Newcastle today. So yeah, I'm a little. I'm like a dog with a tin dick. I'm quite pleased with myself at this point.
Did you have them,
mate? All right, okay. Now that sounds like you're trolling me at this point. My pick on the show was under 2.5 goals, Lonte.
Oh no, I didn't know. I didn't watch this week.
No, I know you didn't. I've just finished.
But I usually do watch them.
I just finished doing the Premier League show where I had to justify myself to Barry and everybody else for taking under 2.5. But if you're going to lose, you might as well lose spectacularly than like a bad beat with a third goal in the last minute. So yeah, good old Newcastle, happy days. So we will start tomorrow. I'll tell you what we'll do actually. I'll tell you about DraftKings first before we get into anything. Another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on all the NFL action. Great offers every single game day. $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5. So just put down 5 on any of this week's matchups, walk away an instant winner. The Tyreek Hill line was absolutely great. So Big and Baz from the Premier League show threw out 2 bets this weekend. We threw out Mike Williams receiving yards, Bosch, and we threw out the Colts on the handicap. They actually won it outright, didn't they? So yeah, plus 8.5. And football is much more fun when you're getting on the action. Download the app, sign up with the code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. And Game Time, the ticket people, doing a really great job of allowing you to look forward to the event rather than getting stressed out over buying your tickets. Game Time have got tickets for all the sport, music, comedy and theatre that you want to go and see. The Game Time guarantee is an outstanding part of the deal, and they will offer you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. So the thing to do here is download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Trev had the Broncos plus 6. You just fell 44 points short there, Trev. Good effort. Right, good. That is the equivalent. You are the Sheffield United of NFL handicappers tonight, Trev. 1:05 Eastern tomorrow. The Arizona Diamondbacks at the New York Yankees. Merrill Kelly goes for the D-backs, and Clark Schmidt goes for the New York Yankees. This game is on the board. It's tight on the books. Arizona are minus 108. The Yankees are plus 105. I haven't seen a total actually on this one. I'll see if I can fetch the total. The game that's currently ongoing, it'll be finished absolutely any moment now. Arizona lead New York by 7-0 in the 9th inning. So Arizona are going to take another vital win. Lonte, how do you feel about Kelly versus Schmidt tomorrow?
Yeah, I like Arizona here. Both teams have won 6 of their last 10. I guess it'll be 7 of 11 win for Arizona and 6 of 11 for New York after that game is done. But Arizona has won 4 of their last 5. New York has been a little bit down in their last 5. They've only won 2 out of those 5. So Arizona in a little bit better form. I think Kelly's the much better pitcher since his return in late July. I think the 25th is when he returned from that injury in late June. So after missing a month, I mean, he's only allowed over 3 runs once in his last 12 starts. Half of those were on the road. So he should be good here. Smith, he's struggled a bit. He's allowed 3 runs in the previous 3 starts, and then he gave up 4 and 2 home runs and 5 innings pitched in his last start. So I think we get the better pitcher here. Arizona's obviously playing for more than what the Yankees are playing for. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think just they're in better form with the better pitcher on the mound. I don't trust the Yankees offense at all, so I'll lean under as well. But I like Arizona here, Mal.
I've just seen the total. The totals are up at 7.5. Yeah, or you could have an 8 if you want the under, Lonte. I would go towards the over in that situation. I'll tell you why in a moment. But I've got a little question mark next to Merrill Kelly's name. His recent game log. 3 of the games he gave up 1 earned run, and the other 2 he gave up 7 earned runs. So which one are we going to get? We're going to get 1. We're going to get 7. Both the 7s were on the road at the Mets and at the Dodgers. The D-backs are only a 500 roads team, or that will tip slightly over when they finish this game today. 6-4 in the last 10. Clark Schmidt's much easier to predict. 9-9 on the year, 4.65 ERA. Kind of tells you a lot, actually. Win 1, lose 1 in a very middling ERA. His last 4 starts, he's given up 4, 3, 3, and 3. Again, they've won 2 and lost 3. Games are fairly low scoring. Here's the key piece of handicapping info for me. Before this game tonight, which is just finishing, the Yankees had scored 16 runs in 5 games. That is now 16 runs in 6 games, assuming they don't scratch one over now. Arizona only put up a 1 spot yesterday, Saturday night. But before that, 6-7, 6-8, 7. You can add another 7 onto that tonight. I think you have to take Arizona at -108. And I also think the total's too low. I think you minimum 3 off Kelly, 1 or 2 off the pen. Sorry, minimum 3 off Schmidt with 1 or 2 off the pen. And Kelly's not hugely live. The Yankees have to score a couple. If the Yankees score 2 or 3, we're going to get the over in this spot. But the main play, Arizona, is at -108. Second game on the card. What time does this go? It is 9:38 p.m. It's the Texas Rangers at the LA Angels. John Gray for Texas and Patrick Sandoval, left-handed pitcher for the Angels. -180 for Texas, +175 for the Angels. I think I've just failed to write these totals down, is what I've done here. The total on this one is 9. John Gray is 7-8 on the year, has a 4.22 ERA, and has been terrible lately. In his last 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I can't dress it up, Lonte. His last 3 starts, he's pitched 8 2/3 and given up 15 hits and 5 walks and 11 earned runs. Now, earlier, I did see Cody Bradford slated to start, so it's possible they might throw Bradford out as an opener. I think I'm seeing Gray confirmed now, so Gray has only been going 2 or 3 innings, and I think he will be on it very shortly. So they're going to have Cody Bradford primed. And I did mention the other night when I was on the show with Dylan, I think it was, that Martin Perez has been excellent for Texas in long relief, like the true definition of a fireman. They just saw him. As it happens, he's actually pitched tonight in a tight game. Texas is they hung on to that one. They are 9-8 up on the Mariners. I mean, talk about a big spot in the season. That game is live as we speak. It's the top of the 8th. It's Seattle 8, Texas 9. But I did see Martin Perez out there pitching earlier on. So, Texas will cobble it together. Patrick Sandoval is 7-13 with a 4.45 ERA. Now, he's been giving up loads of stuff too. However, the Angels just allow him to. They're just going to let him run. There's nothing else for them to do. Mike Trout was confirmed today as his season's finished. So Angels, he might as well just let Sandoval go till his arm drops up. He's got a 6.20 ERA in his last 5. So there's definitely runs in this game. I think the difference is Texas will have Gray on a short leash. They need to win. The Angels don't give a shit. And they'll just let Sandoval go. Texas are too short back. I think a Texas team total is viable. I think the over 9 is totally viable as well. If you want to be really brave, take Texas on the road. Like, you've got to try and factor Texas in. I think the safest way to do it is the Texas team total, Lonte.
Yeah, I like both of those plays. I mean, the Halos, they're pretty much finished. I mean, they've lost 8 of the last 10. Texas won 6 of 10. Like you said, they're en route to win another. They're pretty good on. Well, they're decent on the road. 500. The Halos 5 games under at home. Texas has actually dominated in this matchup. They've won 3 of their last 5 in the matchup. All of those wins about 3+ runs. And I mean, like you said, Sandoval has not been good. 4+ runs allowed in 3 of his last 4 starts. I don't trust Gray either, which is why it's just a lean to Texas. But I do think that the team total and the game goes over. So I'm in agreement with you there. If I do want to get more bang for my buck, I mean, I would go Texas on the run line just because they get all 9 at bats. You think they're going to get to Sandoval more than but then again, the Texas bullpen is horrible. So you would think that the top of that rotation that's going to be starting with Gray and some of those guys at the top of the bullpen will be able to withstand that bad offense that the Angels have. So I'm going to lean with Texas on the run line at the plus price. And I love the team total to go over. I also look at the first 5 to go over as well.
As if to demonstrate your point on the Texas bullpen, they're in grave danger of blowing this lead. Seattle have runners 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs in the top of the 8.
Not a surprise, man. Not a surprise.
Pivotal moment in the season, ongoing as we speak. And the 3rd game of these 4 is a 9:40 Eastern first pitch between those Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners. Justin Verlander for Houston, Luis Castillo for Seattle. Plus 108 for the Astros, minus 118 the Mariners. The total is 7.5. You can have a 7 if you want it, Lonte.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston. I know they haven't looked I know they've looked horrible lately, and you're probably in jeopardy of missing the playoffs. They've lost 5 of 6. 3 of those to KC, like you mentioned at the top, they were swept. They are better on the road. They're 46-29 on the road versus being, I think, right at 500 or a game under 500 at home. I trust in Verlander. I know Castillo's been really good. He actually pitched well versus Houston back in July. He had 7 scoreless in a 10-1 blowout. But I think Houston's in desperation mode. Verlander's been pretty much nails on the road. In his last 6 road starts, he's only allowed more than 2 runs once. And Seattle has kind of dominated the series, which is why I can see why they're favorite. They've won 4 straight in the series, which, it kind of scares me off. But like I said, I think Verlander can get it done here. Houston being away from home, that might get them, rallied up or whatever the case may be. I'm going to go with Houston here. I'm going to hold my nose and go with them at plus price. I would go over as well because I think that if they win this game, I think it's going to be high scoring. They're not really good in low scoring affairs for whatever reason that is. But with that offense, it's kind of stagnant. They left a couple of people on during the Kansas City series. So I think they might can get to Castillo here. Castillo has been good, but he is erratic at times. So I'm going to go with Houston here as the road dog.
2 runners stranded for the Seattle Mariners. Texas escaped the jam. Well, yeah, I'm on the other side, Lonte. I've got Seattle here. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's close on the books for a reason. Justin Verlander. I just think he hasn't been great lately. 3 of his last 4 have been poor, and Houston have lost all of those. He's half a run worse on the road than he is at home. And he's got a September ERA of 5.19. Castillo, on the other hand, he's just been outstanding. 261 in his last 5. That's including a bad start at the Mets. He had a 5 earned run start at the Mets, which is really inflating those numbers. Key stat, Lonte, Seattle have won Castillo's last 10 starts. So if you've been rolling those up, you'd be in good form. So yeah, that was kind of the the piece of information that tipped the scale for me and sent me towards Seattle at a price of minus 118. The final game on the card is off the board, unfortunately. It's the San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants, where Blake Snell, left-handed pitcher, is confirmed for San Diego. San Francisco, as always, have no one TBD, but we do think it's Logan Webb going for the Giants. Nothing priced up for this one. And really, I mean, all your instincts, or all my instincts, when I looked at this game, were just to get all over the Padres, and I didn't see anything. The more I looked into it, to get away from that. Blake Snell, as we know, has had a lot of Cy Young chat on the show over the last couple of months. 14-9 ERA with 14-9 record with a 2.33 ERA. He's been absolutely outstanding. When he starts, the Padres win and the Padres cover. It's really easy. Add into that, the Padres started winning most nights now, oddly. They've waited till the last 2 weeks of September to show everyone what they're capable of. They lead 8-0 through 4 tonight. Everyone knows I'm a little bit bored of the Giants. The Giants are decent. Webb's decent. Can get involved and help San Francisco win the odd low-scoring game. So you've got loads of options. I know we like to throw out a wild correct score here. This has got something like Padres 4-1 written all over it. So I think an under, I think a first 5 under, but all the evidence tells you it's a San Diego Padre run line, Lonte.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk you out of it. I think San Diego is going to bury them here. I mean, Blake Snell, just can't say enough about him. San Diego is hot. 8 of the last 10 they've won. San Francisco's offense has been struggling. They've only scored 2 runs once in the last. They only scored over 2 runs once in their last 4 games. And going against Snell, I'm not sure if that's going to change. He's on a 13-inning scoreless streak. In his last 32 innings pitched, how many runs do you think he's allowed, Mal?
1.
2. Close.
Ooh, not bad.
Yeah, 2 runs in his last 32 innings pitched on 2.2 hits in that span. So he's been dominant. San Diego's has dominated San Francisco this year. In the last 5 meetings, they've outscored them 29-11 and won 4 of those 5 games, 4 of the last 5 games. So I don't think we see anything change here with Snell on the mound. He probably can. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's already cemented, but he can put the nail in the coffin here on that Cy Young with a good performance here. So as long as he goes out and doesn't get blown up, I think it's pretty much his to go. But I mean, San Diego should bury San Francisco here.
Fair enough. So that is the 4 games. I wish there was 4 games every night for the games. However, what we'll do is we're going to move on and just have a little look around, Lonte. I set you a challenge earlier on and see if you can find us a couple of juicy futures, whether it's Divisional League, World Series, stuff like that. So we'll have a little look around in a moment. I'll tell you first about Underdog Fantasy, who are helping you play alongside your favourite football team all season long. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game. All you have to do is go 5 for 5, go higher or lower on your props. From now until October the 4th, Underdog is matching 100% of first deposits up to $500. That's gone up. That was $100. It's now $500 until October 4. You've got $100,000 Sundays continuing on Underdog Fantasy. Total of $2 million in prizes all season long. That's $100K in prizes this week. 10,000 to 10 people. New sweepstakes every day. The Tyreek Hill was the free square this week. Receiving yards 91.5. Easy. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And last but not least is Hall of Fame Bets, helping you win bigger by betting smarter. The sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter them into Hall of Fame Bets Parlay Optimizer too. You get things like hit rates broken down by leg, as well as expected probabilities for the parlay. You can sort players by hit rate to learn which players are hot, which has value, etc. So stop betting in the dark. Use Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. So, Lonte, like I say, I thought I set us a little challenge this afternoon, and I sat down and I thought it would be quite easy to just find it. I was looking for a World Series bet that I liked. I was looking for a divisional bet. And first off, I tried to talk myself into the Tampa Bay Rays at 9-1, and I made quite a few notes. And then just the injuries got me. The route through looked okay. I quite liked the fact that I thought they could beat Toronto. They've got a season series lead over Toronto. I thought they might be able to use their experience, their playoff experience over Baltimore, but it was just the injuries, so I had to scrub that, and I went back to the start. And I got myself thinking about Houston, but again, it was very fine margins going into this week. So I was doing this at 4:00 this afternoon, and since then things have changed again because Houston have lost to the Royals, as we keep mentioning. Seattle are losing. Arizona are winning. Texas are going to win. So Houston at 8-1 look viable, but they can't afford to make many more of these mistakes. So basically, Lonte, I made a bit of an arse of trying to find a pick. Luckily, you're a better man than me. So, I mean, you had a look around. Have you got one for us?
Yeah, I like the Blue Jays 8-1.
Okay.
For the AL. I mean, I just think that.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that. I mean, if you look at who's in front of them, I mean, we're really just looking at the Orioles is what I'm thinking about, because I think that's the only team that can pose a threat. But again, I don't know if I trust that rotation in a big setting. So they haven't done it yet. They've never been exposed to big games or to the capacity of this. I mean, Toronto, they've had their share of decent big games, I would say. But I mean, if you go Gausman at the top, I mean, I just feel like Gausman can he's probably one of the better pitchers in the AL. So I like him pretty much against anybody on any staff at the top of the lineup. Maybe you can debate with Glass now, but again, all those injuries in Tampa's lineup, it's kind of hard to figure out what the status of difference is going to be. But I do like the Blue Jays at 8-1. I'm thinking they can make a run similar to what Philadelphia made last year, because if they get hot and the bats get going, the top of that lineup, Bo Bichette, Vlad, and those guys at the top of the lineup, I think they're dangerous at the top of that. On the NL, man, I'm gonna go with the Brewers. Just going with strictly pitching. I mean, the Brewers are 8-1. I mean, just think about it. You got Woodruff, Peralta, Burns at the top. I mean, the only people in front of them that would rival that, I think, is obviously the Braves with their top three. I mean, I don't trust the Dodgers rotation. Philadelphia is kind of hit or miss, especially if they're not playing at home. I mean, the Brewers, if they get the bats going defensively, they're probably one of the better teams in not only the NL but just the MLB. So I'm gonna go with the Brewers, man. I like the top. I like the top of that rotation. They got a decent bullpen. Just the offense is what scares me. But they're able to win 2-1 games and also win 7-6 games. So that's the difference in between them and a lot of these other teams, which is why I like them. So I'll take two, I guess, mediocre shots in the AL and NL. I go Blue Jays 8-1 and Brewers 8-1 also. Yeah,
just a couple of things on those. Myself and Dylan talked about the Brewers on Thursday night, because I think I'd watched them. There was a baseball game. And their lineups, it's kind of built for playoff baseball. People were talking about you need home runs to win playoff baseball. But what the Brewers can do is manufacture stuff. And they've brought in quite a few bits and bobs players. We talked about Mark Canha, Santana. And they can manufacture stuff, and they've got quite a lot of flexibility in their lineup. We talked about they can move things around, so I don't mind the Brewers. The only problem is when you look at that NL side of the bracket, is what casts a huge shadow over that side of the bracket are those two names, the Dodgers and the Braves. When you get into the NLDS, that's pretty scary, isn't it? Because you see in the wild card round, you see the Cubs and the Brewers and the D-backs and the Phillies. You think, all right, yeah, they're all lovely teams. And then you advance from that and you just run into a fucking freight train, whichever one it is, you run into Atlanta or LA. On the other side, with your Toronto pick, like what I was kind of looking for on that side was to fade the Orioles. Wasn't so much as picking Tampa Bay, picking Houston. Like I said, it was, I think the Orioles can can get turned over. And it's not because I want them to, because I really like the Orioles. They've got 4 or 5 of the most fun young players in the sport. However, like you say, a lack of experience. I think there'll be there will be better years ahead for Baltimore. This lineup could still be rolling pretty much similar for the next 4 or 5 years. And then you add John Means back in. And one of the huge things, which I've talked about since May, and it is starting to look like it's coming to fruition, is that the Orioles bullpen just looks gassed. They weren't getting any length out of their starters, and we talked about it 5 months ago. We said, come September, this will catch up with the Orioles pen, and I think it just is a little bit. So I was looking to fade them. Houston, again, I'm going to have to put a scribble through my notes there. Yeah, I would absolutely side with you because I can't take Tampa Bay. They've just been done by the injuries. Minnesota aren't good enough. Correa and Royce Lewis injured for them. And that really leaves the door open. If it's not Texas, then it's going to be Toronto. I did have one other play, and I don't know if these odds have changed since 3 or 4 hours ago, and it was a really boring one, but it was Texas to win the division, which at the time was -140.
Let's see. I was on DraftKings just 1 second ago. You said Texas was what?
-140. They were 3 hours ago.
They're 450 now.
Fucking hell, man! You can't afford, right? Okay. Well, I'll not waste everyone's time with my handicap. I mean, I could tell you why I was right. Fucking hell, man. I just looked at the Texas have got Seattle and the Angels and Seattle. Seattle have got a big say to having this because Houston have got Seattle and Arizona, and then Seattle go back to play Texas and Houston. But very fine margins. I was kind of expecting both teams just to pick up a win tonight, Houston particularly. And keep the price live because Houston were plus 185, and I just couldn't see how Texas wouldn't get it done. In my notes are we take worse -140 shots every night of the week on this show. And you wouldn't take a -140 shot in April for 6 months, but you got to spend this money next Sunday. So it's not like it was good. You were going to tie it up for 7 days, and that was it. However, the bird has flown, Lonte, and we've missed it. Yeah, so I mean, I've got nothing else to add. Did you have any? Is that you done, or did you have any other jewels for us?
Nah, man, but I'm thinking about making that 11-1 World Series bet on the Astros. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm thinking.
I've been down to 8-1, and we've just been having a little discussion with Cameron Kerr from the network on Twitter, and if they get in, they've got the pitching, they've got the experience, they've got the little bit of Stardust and Jordan, and
they got the home run ball, they got the defense, they got the coaching staff. Even though Munaf hates it, they got they got everything, man. And if you roll out Verlander, Valdez, and I guess who would be the third?
Javier, maybe.
Yeah, Javier. I mean, come on. I mean, and if those bats get hot, and I mean they're going to be on the road the first few series, so they play better on the road. So I mean, just think about that. I'm pretty sure that's priced in, but maybe not enough. 11-1. I mean, I've made worse bets. I'm gonna take that, man. That's gonna be my best bet. 11-1 World Series.
Okay, I'll back that tomorrow as well, Lonte, and then we have a little team ride heading into the playoffs, and we can stick it up under Munaf's nose as well because he'll hate that if they are going well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Lonte. That was fun. 7 more days, is it? So this time next week is the last day of the regular season, is that correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. And then we'll have all sorts of things planned and schemed for the playoffs here on the MLB Gambling Podcast. Really, really looking forward to it. Thanks everyone who joined us and said hello, Trev. Your commitment is second to none. Thanks everyone for listening. Good luck with all your picks. Stay tuned, as I say, all week, and then moving into the playoffs. The boys will be around all week trying to make us some money between now and then. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.